Hey, everybody! Welcome to the next episode of Aches and Gainz. Gainz with Doc and Donnie. My name is Dr. Estes.
He's a doctor.
I am a doctor. Johnny, where's your high school jersey?
Well, funny you say that. So when I played basketball in high school, I was about 120 pounds lighter. So what I'm saying is I haven't been able to figure out a way to expand my jersey to fit around my, gut and my shoulders and everything else. Yeah. So here I am, and I'm just wearing my stupid little company shirt. You, on the other hand, have this really cool high school jersey that somehow managed to not deteriorate over the last 20 years.
Well, this is literally the first time I've worn this since 1998 when we won the South Carolina Independent Schools Athletic Association State Championship. What up? Let's go Cyclones!
Which is pretty much a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so. Might as well be. I have the ring. Thanks. And I did it without Alex Guerrero.
Whoa. Imagine what you could have done with him.
I know. Our pregame meals. We used to eat at Ryan's Steakhouse.
Oh yes, Ryan's Family Steakhouse.
They would come buffet. Yeah, that's real smart. Let's go and have a buffet so we can all just eat to our heart's content and just get absolutely stuffed. And then what they would do is they would bring out, because you remember the rolls at Ryan's? Man, those things are like crack. And so they would bring out these 5-gallon buckets just with rolls, and then one by one we'd go up there and just I get 10 on my plate, and then finally we were only allowed 5 per person because we were eating Ryan's out.
They literally are no longer in business because of you guys.
Of the football team. Yeah. So I don't really know why I decided to wear this shirt. I just grabbed it. I grabbed it this morning when I was leaving the house, and I was like, screw it. Let's throw it on.
I, for one, am glad you did.
Yeah.
You did.
We can kind of make a segue to our topic today. Unless you have more to talk about.
No, I just want everybody to just take this in. Here I am. Nobody will even notice me.
I'm going to spend the entire time
just pulling it up there.
Just doing
Look at those delts.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is getting very close to homoerotic. We got to watch that line. Anyway. Yes.
Speaking
of football and sports that require
measurable
testing.
I know what I want to talk about. So, Donnie, they canceled the combine this year.
Did they really?
They did. Yeah.
What do you need measurables for?
What are your thoughts on that?
Dude, why? Why must you put this where I have to speak my mind? What are my thoughts on the fact that they're canceling an ability to test an athlete's measurables, and that's not you have your immeasurables that you can't test, but that's something that's done.
The Wonderlic test.
Yeah, the Wonderlic test. Yeah. Well, let's not talk about that and the racist stuff that people are claiming of that. But anyway, let's talk about that. Why would you do that? This is so stupid. There's nobody in there anyway. It's not open to the public. All you have is.
All right. I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you before.
What are we going to do? Video 40 yards?
Just stop.
I swear to God, I ran a 4.4.
God, I'm sorry. You're right. I asked the wrong question.
You did.
What I was trying to get at is, what do you think is going to do to these prospects, because they now don't have this they have this ability to.
They're probably going to make individual video games and deliver them to all the teams. They're going to do that. You're not going to get the feel of talking to the athlete in person. You're not going to understand who they are, because you're not going to have that sense of most people you can gauge somebody's personality, someone's morals and ethics just by how they conduct themselves. You're not going to have that, so you're going to be a little bit of a loss there. But they're still going to figure out a way to get their measurables. They're going to have these. What's funny about it is there's still going to be, if we're talking purely the spread of COVID, you're still going to have people in the gyms. You're still going to have that aspect of it. It's just all going to be in different places instead of one place. it's absolute pandering to current populations right now, because people will get upset if you have more than 4 people within a freaking room of 20. Let's just get over that. They're still going to have the measurables in there. That's the good thing about it is they're still going to do that. You just won't have the feel of being able to get to know the person before you potentially, bank your entire, franchise on a player.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to trigger you.
Tom Brady. All right.
You're still Super Bowl 54. Look, I think it's I agree. It's dumb. We're having basketball games right now. Why can't we have the combine? Makes no sense. But it's going to create a disadvantage for these prospects who, especially the guys who are going to be maybe drafted in like the 4th, 5th, 6th round, because you don't really have much on them other than their D2 tape. And
then they've had 4 or 5 months to train, become better, and you're not going to be able to see that.
Yeah. So I think that it's unfortunate, and I wish there was a better way, but there is a better way. The decision has been made.
Yes.
We thank you.
By people smarter than us, apparently.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome to the Hunger Games. Yeah. The reason I brought that up. And I'm wearing the shirt, actually, is because today's episode is going to be about training to the test.
Yes.
And that means different things, probably for me, more so than it does. It means different things for both of us.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we're both going to touch on it in terms of what it means for our field. And then we'll kind of come together and say, how we use it and how it could be beneficial. But so I'm going to let you kind of take it away. Talk about training to the test. What does that mean to you? How do you use it? Is it good? Is it bad?
Well, as a former strength athlete, that's literally what we did. We trained, especially in a powerlifting. You're testing to see what your maximum compound lifts are on a certain day at a certain time in a certain atmosphere. So that's what we do. It's the same thing as a combine. You train for this, and all of a sudden you got to go perform. It doesn't matter what you've done on the gym. It doesn't matter what you've done in training. It matters what you do on the competition day. We're talking about combine stuff. We're talking any kind of individual competition. When we say individual, because when we're talking team stuff, there's other variables. But individual, this is your day to shine. Now, let's change it over to, let's see. I have a few clients that I work with that are working on the brand new ACFT, which is the Army Combat Physical Fitness Test, that they've come out with, and they've changed it up to add a lot of strength components into it, not just how fast can you run, how many push-ups can you do.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with that right now.
No, that's nice to hear that our military finally recognizes the benefit of strength.
It's insane. They're the last ones, I think. Anyway, but so what we're doing now is we're training. When I'm making training methods for them, we're separating the test and isolating it and training here. But the training methods that I'm creating, the programs, are designed to flow from event to event. So even though we're only doing 1 or 2 things here, they're incorporated other things that are involved in there. So while we're training a deadlift, because actually there's a deadlift in there. There's a hex bar deadlift, 3 rep max.
What?
Yeah, it's insane. And they realize, wait a minute, being able to pick up heavy stuff correlates into a combat scenario where you may have to drag one of your buddies and pick him up or something like that. It's
get out of here.
Yeah, wow. So so when we do that, we're training in there. So everything is based upon the test. But I will tell you what we don't do a lot is test. I'm not doing max effort lifts or any kind of max effort training for that until we lead up to it, because I don't want to peak too fast or whatever you want to call it. You want to make sure that you lead up to it, because when you're training at a high level, you can't, in theory, stay at that high level perpetually. There, you have to come down and recover and this kind of stuff. So the timing of it, when you have a performance test, you have to do it on this date. You have to make sure you're timing it to come up there. So that's where my aspect of it, where my expertise comes in. It's like, all right, we got to figure out, okay, we have 4 weeks to get here. Here's where we want to be on week 1. Here's where we want to be week 2, 3, 4, and then where we be on week 5. Where do we want to be peaking? Do we want to be still going up at competition? No, we want to be at the near the apex.
Yeah.
So that's where training to the test comes into play and that kind of stuff. Now, for you, I'm assuming it's a lot different when you're dealing with rehabilitation of injuries.
Yeah. So, we incorporate a bunch of stuff. So, when somebody comes in the clinic, when I do my evaluation, subjective is one thing, but the objective part of my evaluation, I'll do a series of orthopedic tests to help come up with an orthopedic diagnosis. But we'll also do some sort of functional screen, some movement screen, which I know, if you're in the physical therapy realm, that, movement screen or, using a system has become kind of, it's gone away. It's maybe jumped the shark a little bit. It still gives you a framework under which you can diagnose and treat someone and try to develop a plan of care. So I still think it's beneficial in that aspect. So we'll do things like, for example, a 7-inch lateral step down test. So you have a 7-inch box. We have someone do kind of a step down or a heel tap off of that. And the reason we pick 7 inches is because that is the height that was studied, determined to be valid and reliable, where if someone can pass that test, it's one step to help determine if they can get back to running and playing sports. We do hop testing in our clinic as well, especially after ACL repair or after knee injury. We will do hop testing for people who want to get back to playing sports.
Check the dynamic abilities.
Yeah, exactly. So it's we're looking at your ability to stabilize the knee with planting, cutting, jumping, and those type of things. Which we need that sports. So the reason that I brought this up is because sometimes is the question. The question is, if I train to the test and I get better at the test, is there a carryover to the functional aspects of it? Does it mean anything? And so we try to use tests that are valid and reliable and that have been shown to lead to things like return to sport, increase that percentage of returning to sport. It's kind of a clearance. No pun intended, a hurdle, so to speak, to clear, to say, hey, all right, look, you're ready to go back.
Unsupervised.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of the reason that I brought this up is like, all right, well, what does it mean? Because there are some balance tests that we do. So we see people who are non-athletes who have balance impairments, and we'll do balance testing. And so the thing about the balance testing, the thing about all these things is that they are not only they test, but they can also be intervention. They can also be exercise.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. And from our aspect, in terms of training to the test, maybe someone can't do the 7-inch heel tap very well at the first visit, and so I'm not going to have them do that as an exercise. But let's do a 3-inch heel tap. So I can start with
test and then modify.
And then I modify, and then over time try to improve. Build up to doing it at the 7-inch. So
which is a training plan to a test. It's the same concept, just different application.
And so in that aspect, there is a direct one-to-one relationship between things like literally like going downstairs. If I don't have the eccentric quad or hip control to perform that test appropriately, I'm going to have trouble going downstairs because that's essentially literally what I'm trying to do is go down a step. But it's also relevant to my runners because running is a series of single leg balance stability exercises where I'm having momentum and I need to be able to stabilize with that momentum and do that for as long as I need to run. Yep. So that's why I brought this up because there is some question as to like the functionality of these tests and it doesn't matter that aspect. So it sounds like the people who designed these tests, especially the military stuff that you're talking about before, there is some sort of direct relationship. Like, hey, I'm essentially trying to simulate like a combat scenario. And so if I can get faster and better and stronger at these things, then I can handle it when it happens in the real world.
So they actually did a test, a relatable test to a combat scenario. And when they designed this particular test, by the way, the APFT, which is the test that's been around since I believe the 70s, has not been modified since. It's been since Vietnam era.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, Vietnam era is when they started implementing physical fitness testing into the military. So the same thing there. So when they did this, they did a correlation of from the APFT, which is the run, push-up, sit-ups, what they said, I can't believe the exact, I can't remember the exact verbiage, but it was like the correlation between being able to complete this, what predictability is that to be able to be a good soldier or being able to be a certain level of soldiers in the field. We're talking tactical drills, this kind of stuff. We're not talking, being proficient at if you're an intel analyst, whatever. We're talking about purely physical. And then 40% was 40% indicator. If you were like a PT stud, that indicated you were 40% indication that you were going to be really good at a real world application.
Okay.
The new the ACFT, they did the same studies on this, and of course the data is very limited because it's relatively new. As of now, they're saying it's more like a 70% correlation.
All right.
So now we've almost doubled the correlation to real world application, and by the way, which is life and death.
Yeah.
And not so. And this is important, in my opinion, is to be able, because combat, just like anything else in sports, is constantly evolving. So now modern combat is oh crap, we're taking fire. We need to move, quick burst here. We got to pick this up, move. Like, oh, he's down, grab him, let's go. It's not like we're going to run 2 miles into a place anymore, these long road marches and stuff. We're talking about fast acting stuff. And this is why they put a ball throw, testing explosive strength, this kind of stuff, being able to do that. So that's why the tests are constantly varying, because the real world applications are varying. Same thing with sports. As we move on in sports, these tests will eventually evolve because some things may be just not applicable anymore.
Yeah.
And in your scenario there, depending on the injury will depend on the test that you do.
Yeah.
So if it's a lower body injury, you're not going to worry about, okay, how's the range of motor in the shoulder? That's not that scope at that point. Yeah. So, it all correlates. And I do believe that there is application from training to the test to real world in whatever scenario you're doing it, if the exercises and the rehabilitation match the real world exercises.
So there are definitely times when, we will do, so we have, I don't know, for example, recently had a patient who is having some balance issues, and, her only goal was, in case I fall down and I'm in the middle of the floor, if I want to be able to get up without having to like army crawl over to a chair or hit my life alert.
And that person, that's a big deal.
Yeah. So we did a bunch of other accessory things and worked on like some good old fashioned like hip strength, clamshells, and all that jazz. But we literally would spend half of our appointments practicing varieties of a lunge, and then we started out with things like a TRX assisted lunge where she would hold on, step back, and then we wouldn't go to full depth. We'd have a box there. She'd touch her knee to it and then come back up. We'd slowly chop that away, went down to the floor. Then we would go to things like being able to just kneel as well. Can she handle just being in a kneeling position and stabilize there and do other things? Then we would give like one arm support and lunge with one arm support. Yeah. Then I'd give her fingertip support. So the point being, there's like a progression. Yep. Now, here's the thing: none of those are tests that have been studied and deemed valid or reliable to being able to help someone get off the floor. We have other balance tests that help determine if someone's a fall risk. Yeah. And presumably, if I increase my score on those tests, I become a reduced fall risk. But I don't have a lunge to stand test. Yeah. Right, but we trained to the test, which was her desire to get up off the ground in case she falls without having to grab onto something and using her own strength to do so.
But I think this is where the common sense meter has to come into play. There is, once you've built up someone's ability to have unilateral strength from the bottom position, in theory, their capacity to stand up in a compromised position is going to increase. Mm-hmm. Now, is it going to be perfect? Probably not.
No.
But if we're looking for measurable data, well, there it is.
Yeah. And so that was kind of the point of all this. And so, and whenever we do stuff in the clinic, and especially when it comes to our athletes and getting back to sport, the objective stuff that we select, we try to select tests that have been deemed valid and reliable, meaning that I can reproduce them. Any of my other doctors of physical therapy can reproduce them if they test it, and then B, have been shown to have a relationship where it increases the likelihood of somebody getting back
to playing sports, to running,
Whatever
to whatever their desired activity might be. So it's why we kind of stick with those certain types of tests. And so therefore, if we train to the test and we start with modifications, so for example, going with a lower height heel tap or a different variation of a single leg jump in a smaller range of motion or smaller distance, and we continue to try to progress that, we will get better at the test, and then ostensibly we will get better at our desired activity or sport of choice.
Yeah, and once again, common sense comes into play there.
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No, of course it's not perfect. Is it going to happen every time? But there is a correlation between the training and the results.
Yeah.
And I see that in every day here when I'm doing this. I try to look at a macro level here, so I'm not so focused on every day here. But when you look throughout the weeks and months that you're doing this stuff, all of a sudden, someone who could barely lunge before is now getting a full depth lunge. Okay, so something along the way went right. Mm-hmm. That doesn't just happen. Someone just doesn't get stronger. It doesn't just like that. So there's where the measurable data, and that's exactly how scientific studies are done. It's like, all right, here's the control, here's the variable, here's where we started, here's where we finished.
Yeah.
People who didn't do this didn't have this. People who did. There we go. So you're doing it. The only difference is you don't have somebody just sitting on their ass next to you. I can't hire someone to come in and be like, hey, while I'm training them, you just sit on your ass, and then in 6 weeks we're going to train and see what you did.
Yeah.
But
Well, you do. It's called the average American citizen.
There we go. Perfect.
So, yeah. Speaking of which,
wow, what a segue! All right,
we got something special today. I didn't even know about these before. Donnie told me about this like 2 minutes before the episode. So here we go. Everyone's favorite part of the show: bro science, myths, or pet peeves. And today, this is basically a bro science myth. But Donnie, take it away. This is your idea.
Well, this was actually one of my U.S. Army clients and athletes that I'm training for this new test. Sent this to me. He goes, "What do you think?" And apparently, in some areas of the Army, this is running rampant as a training tool. It's essentially pants that have some sort of resistance bands, and Ashley, we'll put up a thing up here, an image of showing you what it is.
Let's put up a link to this.
Oh God! It's essentially pants that have resistance bands that loop around your foot, and every time you walk, apparently you're getting up to 20-30 pound resistance is what they're claiming.
There actually aren't even units on here. Whoa. It just has resistance level. So first of all, the brand name is Agogie. Agogie.
And whoever did their website made it really good because it looks really cool.
Yeah. So there are actually no units to the resistance levels. There's just a plus 20 and a plus 40. I don't know if we're playing Magic the Gathering or if I'm working out.
That's called I don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
That's what that's called.
Yeah. So how they work. Let's see. Their description is that these are resistant. Like literally, you actually, it's pretty self-explanatory. They are resistance bands that have just been sewed into pants, and so every time you step, the same bands they help you tone and tighten. They stretch to help build your strength and speed. Yeah. I mean,
I think tone and tighten is the same as pliable.
It might as well be. It might as well be. Listen.
Come on, keep it together, Hayes. Come on.
One day we're going to do an episode where we just absolutely just go through a list of exercise tools to help you get better. This one, if we don't include it on there, we're going to go take it now. Look, this is a waste of money. This is a waste of money. You know what? I mean, it's just go do squats. Just go squat and lunge, and it'll be just fine. And you won't have to pay. I'm trying to find a price of what this thing costs. Let me see. $130. $130. You won't have to pay $130 for some janky ass sweatpants that somebody tied a rubber band.
I'm in the wrong industry. You know what? This is gonna be the last episode we do of this. I'm shutting everything down and figuring out a way to get on that. I'm sure it's not proprietary. I'm sure we can figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
I'll only charge $110.
Yeah. Well, we can. Oh my goodness. Hey, and you can level up too. So you can.
For what, another $100? You can.
Yeah. So listen, Agogi, no.
We don't want your sponsorship.
We don't want.
Right
this
now.
is
Don't want
we are thirsty for sponsorship. Don't want yours.
Nope.
You can take it. And you can keep it.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to buy these
Please.
things. There are much easier applications that are cheaper. I understand the concept that you can use like sport band resistance training that we use for our athletes. Run against resistance because it develops quicker cadence, quicker speed, so that when the resistance is taken away. But you don't need to go buy yourself a $130 pair of sweatpants
And walk to the store in it.
and walk to the store and expect to increase your 40 time. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Go squat, go lunge, go do some sprint drills. Maybe get that's about all you need. That's about all you need.
And when you don't get any results and you send an email to these people, you know what they're gonna say? Sucks for you.
Yeah.
They're gonna say thanks for your
There's,
hard-earned
there's
money.
a reason that we don't actually have any sort of units on the website is because it's a bunch of BS. You can up yourself to a plus 40 level if you want to. Holy crap.
Yep.
Man, and I thought $160 vibrating foam rollers were bad.
Here we go.
Sorry.
Yeah. At least there's a battery in those.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
on that note, let's end this thing.
Thank you, please.
So I can hang on.
There you go. Pull it up one more time.
One more time. So we
Get
can
a
still
front
shot.
double bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yo, Ashley. There you go,
There it
Ashley.
is.
Donnie, where can they find you?
In the bathroom later, I guess. I don't know. Wait, no. That's the line, isn't it? I found the line. There it is.
I'm sorry, we were canceled last episode.
Yeah. Facebook.com/Strength and Performance Institute, where you can see all the cool things I'm doing with the people I'm working with. And then Instagram.com/Donnie Kiernan. This all information is below you in the YouTube box there. Just subscribe while you're there too. Hey, go ahead.
There you go. All right, my name is, I actually am a doctor of physical therapy.
He
I'm
is.
Dr. Hayes STs.
I've seen the degree.
Man, I'm the owner of Premier Physical Therapy here at Clearwater. Facebook.com/PT and Sports Therapy. We're also on Instagram at Run. Oh man, that's my 40 at Run Tampa Bay. Let's end this thing. We're out. Rolling good. I think part of the bloopers is going to be me spending
Trying to roll your
15 minutes to get my.
You want
shit
to
going.
grab some dumbbells, do a little pump real quick?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Get them going?
I did some biceps working out this morning. I'm fine.
Oh, perfect. Fired up. Bro, silence. Let's think going right now.
Oh,
yeah. About no. There's there's pants now that provide resistance. The resistance pants. Let me your feet.
How they work. Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. This is.
Yeah. This. And so we can put a picture up on it on the green screen.
Training tools. Yeah. More weights than
Or
one.
like the CrossFit wrist wraps that
Yeah.
are made out of like a pillowcase.
Yeah.
But they have really cool designs on them.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, we're rolling.
Oh. Touchdown.
Yeah. Home run.